Hello crafters, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're going to dive deep into a very useful control structure in programming, the do-while loop. If you're familiar with loops like the for or while loop, you'll find the do-while loop quite similar but with a unique twist. By the end of this video, you'll understand how it works and how to use it in your own projects. A do-while loop is a control flow statement that is used to repeat a block of code multiple times based on a condition. What makes it different from the standard while loop is that in a do-while loop, the condition is checked after the code block runs, not before. This guarantees that the loop will always execute at least once, even if the condition is false from the start. Let's break down the syntax of a do-while loop. The syntax of a do-while loop consists of two primary components, the do block and the while condition. The loop begins with the do keyword, followed by a block of code that is executed at least once, regardless of the condition. After executing the code in the do block, the loop checks the condition specified in the while statement. It starts with the do block, where the code inside is executed unconditionally. After the code in the block runs, the while statement evaluates a specified condition. If the condition is true, the program goes back to execute the do block again, creating a loop. This process continues until the condition becomes false, at which point the loop terminates, and the program proceeds with the next part of the code. The key distinction of a do-while loop is that the condition is checked after the execution of the block, making it ideal for scenarios where you need to ensure that the code runs at least once, such as prompting user input or running a process that requires initial execution before validation. The do-while loop has several key features that make it unique among control flow statements. It guarantees that the code block within the loop is executed at least once, regardless of whether the condition is initially true or false. This is because the condition is evaluated only after the code block has executed. The loop is structured with a do block for the code to run, followed by a while statement that checks the condition to determine if the loop should repeat. If the condition evaluates to true, the loop iterates; if false, the loop terminates. This makes the do-while loop especially useful in scenarios where an initial execution of the code is necessary. The do-while loop is ideal for scenarios where a block of code must execute at least once before checking a condition. Common use cases include user input validation, menu-driven programs, retry mechanisms, game loops, and authentication attempts. For instance, it can repeatedly prompt a user for valid input or retry a task until it succeeds. Unlike other loops, the condition is evaluated after the code runs, making it perfect for situations where the action must occur initially before any validation or condition checking. Its structure ensures simplicity and guarantees at least one execution of the code block. Thank you and happy coding.